sleep, the fields are steeped in blue. There's grease beneath my fingernails, my hands know what to do. This 1957 Sportster's mine, I rebuilt her from the ground. She don't need a man to speak for her, she roars her own true sound. Oh, me and my iron pony, we rule this lonesome road. My Harley and this wild heart have never felt so bold. We burn through Carolina dust and taste the Utah rain. Freedom ain't a word you say, it's a rhythm in your brain. I live alone where pines stand tall, my tools are all my own. I mend the parts, I know the sparks, I ride these bones alone. The highway is my altar and the engines hum my prayer. A woman and her motorcycle lighter than the air. Oh, me and my iron pony, we rule this lonesome road. My Harley and this wild heart have never felt so bold. We burn through Carolina dust and taste the Utah rain. Freedom ain't a word you say, it's a rhythm in your brain. The stars above the desert now are shining just for us. No chains to hold, no walls to keep, no unnecessary fuss. Just two old souls both running free on different kinds of wheels. A love that's real don't need a name, it's just the way it feels. Oh, me and my iron pony, we rule this lonesome road. My Harley and this wild heart have never felt so bold. We burn through Carolina dust and taste the Utah rain. Freedom ain't a word you say, it's a rhythm in your brain. The sun dips low on lonesome pines, the gravel dust still flies. There's motor oil on these old jeans of freedom in my eyes. This 1957 Sportster's mine, I brought her back to life. She answers to no one but the moon, she cuts the night like a knife. Oh, me and my 57, we own this endless road. This steel and fire companion helps me carry a lighter load. From Carolina clay to Arizona sand, we don't ask for no permission. This old bike and this weathered soul, we got our own religion. cab. Oh, me and my 57. We own this endless road. This steel and fire companion helps me carry a lighter load. From Carolina clay to Arizona sand, we don't ask for no permission. This old bike and this weathered soul, we got our own religion. They can't understand the peace I find out in the great unknown. Just a whisper of the tires and a woman on a throne. Two classics well preserved, with stories etched in every part. This bike ain't just a machine, she's my counterpart. Oh, me and my 57. We own this endless road. This steel and fire companion helps me carry a lighter load. From Carolina clay to Arizona sand, we don't ask for no permission. This old bike and this weathered soul, we got our own religion. The Texas sun was bleeding red, my Harley needed fuel. I saw a bar off Highway 10, a break from being solitary and cruel. The screen door screamed a welcome as I walked into the dim. 100 eyes all measured me with a challenge held within. The Texas air was thick and warm inside that dusty room. A neon sign was flickering, spelling out impending doom. Some cowboy with a silver belt thought he could drink me to the floor. He slid a bottle down the wood and said, "You ain't been here before." He slid a bottle of tequila, said, "The race is right here now. Let's see if that iron confidence is just a pretty bow." I didn't even blink an eye, just grabbed it by the neck. The only thing I said to him was, "You're gonna taste the deck." Well, I sipped on lightning, I've danced with the pain. I stood my ground while those boys met the rain. One by one they hit the floor, a slow motion fall, leaving just the silence and the dust upon the wall. I never had to say a thing, just watched them dig their hole. It's a special kind of pleasure watching foolish men lose control. They talk so big and act so tough till their words begin to slow. Now they played a slow blues chord and placed a wrinkled hand upon the keys. I knew right then the real contest had just begun. We sang the night till sunrise, two weathered souls who'd rather chase a melody than the sun. Yeah, I've sipped on lightning, I've danced with the pain. I stood my ground while those boys met the rain. One by one they hit the floor, a slow motion fall, leaving just the silence and the dust upon the wall. Across the line to California, with the sun upon my back. The desert whispered secrets that the redwoods didn't hold back. My Harley sang a lonesome tune, a metallic faithful sound. But in the neon of the cities, different kinds of love I found. Oh, the Pacific Coast Highway, a ribbon wild and free, wound around my lonely heart and showed its soul to me. I met some boys and girls out there beneath the same gold sun, and some of them, I must confess, were thoroughly overrun. A surfer boy with ocean eyes, a taste of salt and skin, a poet girl in Venice Beach, where the wild world begins. We shared some wine, we shared some words, we shared the dying light, and some of them I knew much better in the deep of night. Oh, the Pacific Coast Highway, a ribbon wild and free, wound around my lonely heart and showed its soul to me. I met some boys and girls out there beneath the same gold sun, and some of them, I must confess, were thoroughly overrun. No names were ever needed, no promises to keep, just tangled sheets and morning fog and memories buried deep. The engine starts, I ride away, a smile upon my face, another soul left in the dust of the California grace. Oh, the Pacific Coast Highway, a ribbon wild and free, wound around my lonely heart and showed its soul to me. I met some boys and girls out there beneath the same gold sun, and some of them, I must confess, were thoroughly overrun. some riders on a stretch of Tennessee. A bearded graying man on front, a quiet mystery. A big mean-looking redhead woman riding on his back. She stared a hole right through my soul with not a single tact. We pulled into a roadhouse for some burgers and some gas. That redhead kept on eyeballing me as we walked past. She looked my body up and down, her man did just the same, while she shot daggers from her eyes and fanned her jealous flame. I went to fix my makeup in the bathroom's faded light. I heard the door swing open in the middle of my plight. There stood that fiery woman with a face of pure disgust. She screamed, "You looking at my man, you bitch," and in my hair she thrust. From bad and pointless situations, lessons can be found. You never walk away from nothing without something that you found. A memory, a story, or a brand new point of view, or sometimes just a little something to remember them by. From outside came the ruckus, a tremendous, awful sound of crashing and of screaming that was shaking all the ground. The boys outside all started whooping, catfight with a cheer, while I was in the eye of it and trapped for half a year. The door swung open finally, the noise had died somehow. I stumbled out, my clothes askew, a mess from top to brow. My hair was standing every way, my lipstick was a smear, but in my right hand I held tight a giant red souvenir. I walked up to the gray-haired man who sat there looking pale. I dropped the hair right in his pie and told a simple tale. I think your heavy cargo's had a little overload. You better fetch her from the John, for she explodes a commode. From bad and pointless situations, lessons can be found. You never walk away from nothing without something that you found. A memory, a story, or a brand new point of view, or sometimes just a little something to remember them by. Their mouths open wide, that chunk of fiery red hair blowing in the dust. A little gift from nowhere, from a woman you can't trust. The moon was thin, the road was black. My eyes burning red. I pulled into a motel sign that flickered vacancy in red. A bell chimed on a dusty door. A man behind the glass, his eyes did all the talking as I came to pay my cash. He was a heavy, sweaty man, the only soul inside. The way he looked me up and down just didn't feel too right. I knew right then this overnight stop had trouble in the air. Just a tired woman and a man with a hungry, lonely stare. He turned to get a room key from a hook upon the wall. A moment with his back to me, that's when I made my call. My hand moved like a shadow, a whisper quick and slick, a secret in the half-light performed with just one trick. He was a heavy, sweaty man, the only soul inside. The way he looked me up and down just didn't feel too right. I knew right then this overnight stop had trouble in the air. Just a tired woman and a man with a hungry, lonely stare. I slept like stone till midnight, till I heard my lock give way. The door creaked open, showing that fat man in the doorway. He held a bottle of cheap rum with a drunken, sloppy grin. Said, how about you and me, girl, let a little fun begin. I didn't even sit up straight, I just said, turn on the light. And when he did, the foolish man got paralyzed with fright, cause he was staring down the barrel, shiny, big and black, the very same 44 Magnum that I'd taken from his rack. I said, now I think you're drunk, sir, and you'd best go back to bed, or you'll be laying down tonight with a brand new lead diet. His courage turned to nothing, he backed out into the hall, and I slept soundly till I heard the morning's wake-up call. At checkout time, I placed the gun back on the counter clean. I smiled at the frightened man, a picture of calm and serene. Opened up my other hand, the bullet shining bright. Better in my hand than in your ass, lonely man, sleep tight. He was a heavy, sweaty man, the only soul inside. The way he looked me up and down just didn't feel too right. I knew right then this overnight stop had trouble in the air. Just a tired woman and a man with a hungry, lonely stare. On a town I can't recall. My tank was near on empty, leaning on a concrete wall. The pump was slow as molasses, humming that old dull tune, when a beat-up Chevy pulled up fast beneath the afternoon. Stop right by the little bank, cross the dusty street. Two men jumped out with guns drawn fast, looking mean and indiscreet. Then all hell broke, the silence shattered by the lead that started flying. I hit the deck behind my bike, quietly sighing an eye roll. And they came to rob, they came to steal, with foolish, greedy plans. But they forgot the simple rule out here in these flatlands. You can shoot the windows, you can scare the clerk, but brother, you are playing with fire when you choose your own work. The shooting stopped as fast it starts. They're running on their feet. A wild retreat, a desperate beat, a panicked wild heartbeat. And one of them, a clumsy fool in his blind and stupid race, he clipped my parked up Harley, and she fell in disgrace. I heard the crash of polished steel on that hard and unforgiving ground. A different kind of anger in me suddenly was found. I reached under my seat for my trusted Louisville slugger. Time to teach a lesson to a lowlife, clumsy mugger. They came to rob, they came to steal, with foolish, greedy plans. But they forgot the simple rule out here in these flatlands. You can shoot the windows, you can scare the clerk, but brother, you are playing with fire when you choose your own work. He never saw me coming, just a whisper and a thwack. One swing was all it took to put his lights out flat upon his back. I stood there with my bat in hand, the chaos dying down. I had protected what was mine right there in that no-name town. Main Street Friday night for anyone who dared. A local boy with a checkered flag, the whole town stood and stared. The kids lined up their plastic rockets, polished up and bright, and I just rolled my 57 up into the temporary light. The young girls with their factory bikes, all shiny, loud and new, painted me a pity smile for my 57, aged and true. They looked at me like I was dust, a ghost from long ago. A little secret they don't know is how much an old bike knows. But when the green light dropped, I let my iron pony scream, left them all behind in a carbon fiber dream. They thought this old gal's time was done, a relic from the past, but I was having too much fun to ever finish last. They talked about torque and mods and chrome and voices high and shrill. I just checked my tire pressure with a calm upon my will. They revved their engines desperate just to make a little noise. I felt the old beast under me, remembering simpler joys. But when the green light dropped, I let my iron pony scream, left them all behind in a carbon fiber dream. They thought this old gal's time was done, a relic from the past, but I was having too much fun to ever finish last. They handed me a cheap gold cup, expected me to grin. I looked at that dumb shiny thing and pushed it back to them. The real prize wasn't winning, it was in the engine's cry and the freedom of the open road that waited by and by. Yeah, when the green light dropped, I let my iron pony scream, left them all behind in a carbon fiber dream. They thought this old gal's time was done, a relic from the past, but I was having too much fun to ever finish last. Driving down my 57 in some sleepy square. The dust of Oklahoma was getting special care. A truck full of farm boys rumbled by a hoot and hollow cheer, and one yelled something ugly that a lady shouldn't hear. Well, my middle finger answered a simple, quick reply, a universal message underneath the prairie sky. Some fights ain't worth the fighting, some words are just hot air. I figured he was nothing but a fool without a care. Store for beer and a piece of cake, and who should be behind the counter grinning through the day? The very same loud mouth from the truck his friends were nowhere seen. He looked at me, I looked at him, a sudden awkward scene. I said the words you used before, you wanna say them to my face. He wiped his hands upon his jeans with a disarming grace. A slow regretful smile appeared, ma'am, I was being a clown, and something in that honest look completely melted my frown, yeah. The talk led to my Harley. We watched the sun go down together deep in a lonesome valley. The moon rose up and saw two souls both hungry and alone, and the night wrote its own story on a bed that wasn't home. Well, my middle finger answered a simple, quick reply, a universal message underneath the prairie sky. Some fights ain't worth the fighting, some words are just hot air, but a real apology from a man, well, that's a little rare. My middle finger answered a simple, quick reply, a universal message underneath the prairie sky. Some fights ain't worth the fighting, some words are just hot air, but a real apology from a man, well, that's a little rare. The sun was high on Kansas wheat, I had my own slow pace, when 12 wheels came up behind, invading on my space. I moved over to let him pass, a courteous, simple act, but he just stayed upon my tail, a giant, ugly fact. There's nothing I hate more out on this lonesome road than some bored trucker with a heavy, stupid load who thinks it's fun to crowd a bike, to push and dominate. It stirs a special kind of calm, a patient hate. I sped up just a little bit to get some cleaner air. He matched my speed and stuck right there without a single care. Then came a blast that shook my bones, his air horn loud and deep, sent my Harley and my heart into a panic way too steep. I ate a mouthful of the dirt, I swerved and kept the steel upright and shaking with the rage. I started feeling real, I saw him disappear ahead, a speck against the sun. I knew our little game for me was far from being done. There's nothing I hate more out on this lonesome road than some bored trucker with a heavy, stupid load who thinks it's fun to crowd a bike, to push and dominate. It stirs a special kind of calm, a patient hate. I found him later by the tracks, his rig was parked and still at the railroad depot on a silent, sleepy hill. I checked into a motel close, just wanting rest and peace, to put the dusty, angry day and all its noise release. I woke up at 2 a.m. still thirsty from the heat, cracked a beer and took a walk to feel the night's cool beat. The depot was so quiet, the moon was shining down. I walked right past that big old truck, parked peaceful in this town. I woke up later to the shouts of panic and of curses, a man's voice screaming at the sky for all his universes. I looked out through my window at the scene down in the lot, that big rig sitting on its rims, a sorry-looking thought. I smiled and lay back on the bed, pulled a pillow to my head. Small annoyances, I whispered, can leave you seeing red and flat. The sun bled orange on the canyon rim. I sat down in the dirt. My 57 leaned against me, covered in the desert's hurt. I've ridden through 1,000 towns, 1,000 lonely nights, 100 crazy stories neath the pale and distant lights. And I gotta ask my trusted steel, my ever-flying bone, why does the road keep calling us when we're already gone? Are we just chasing shadows? Are we running from the sun? Or is the only truth we own the next mile to be won? exhausted by the questions and my own burned out desire. I woke up with the dawn's first light, a clarity so deep. The answer wasn't out there on the road, it was in the peace I'd keep. I brushed the dust off of my jeans and patted down my friend. Come on, old girl, I smiled, our wandering's near its end. But first I need to find a phone, there's someone I must call. And we rode off from the canyon's edge to face a different kind of walk. Upon my face, I ordered up a burger and a beer to find my saving grace. I changed $1 for some quarters, my heart began to pound, and walked out to a payphone on that silent holy ground. I held my silver pendant that I wore against my chest, opened up the locket, put my memories to the test. Smiled at me from a faded ancient photo. I turned it for the number written there, my life's new motto. My callous fingers dialed slow, each number was a year. I heard the ring, I held my breath and swallowed down my fear. A voice, a man's voice, answered deep and slightly rough. I barely whispered hi, my one-word prayer was just enough. Trembling, I felt so weak and silly. This woman made of leather, grease, independent pride, was standing in a phone booth with nowhere left to hide. The conversation wasn't long, the words don't matter here. It was the seed of hope we planted, chasing away the fear. I hung up and I ate my food and watched through window glass. The attendant filled my Harley's tank for one more task to pass. And for the first time in forever, the road felt different now. It wasn't leading me away, but showing me just how to get to where I should have been a lifetime ago. The final ride to find the one I never let go. Drone to Canada and to his farm, to a life I'd never known. I I thought of raising chickens and vegetables in the ground and warming my cold hands in his when the snow was all around. A smile broke upon my lips. I let the memory start of a crackling winter fireplace and him holding my heart. The crazy bars, the dirty fights, the lovers and the lies, they all just fell away from me beneath the open skies. And for the first time in forever, the road felt different now. It wasn't leading me away, but showing me just how to get to where I should have been a lifetime ago. The final ride to find the one I never let go. The asphalt ribbon pulled me north. My past began to blur. I gave the throttle just a little more, a low and happy purr. Leaving all the stories, leaving all the dust behind, to ride the only one that matters with the one I was always meant to find.